You're listening to What She Grows Through, a podcast dedicated to empower and uplift Black women to grow their self-worth. I'm your host, Chanel Amir, one of many dope Black women, creating a community for us to pour into and align with one another, uncovering our true feelings from sexuality to self-love, to begin growing through life and evolving into our best authentic selves. Let's get started. Hey, beautiful. Thanks for tuning into the latest episode of What She Grows Through podcast. Quick note, I am recording this currently very late and my little baby is here. So if you hear her in the background, don't be alarmed. That's her. But the topic that I have for you today is pretty important to me and definitely beneficial for you as well in any part of your journey. So they say self-esteem is our individual subjective evaluation of our own worth and our opinion of ourselves and our abilities. Of course, some people have a high sense of self-esteem, while others have a low sense, which can lead to you feeling insecure and definitely unmotivated. In times like these, going on a year, with this annoying pandemic, there's loads of uncertainty. People are stressed, depressed, in a mess. We'll talk about my bars in another episode. But during these times, we can actually feel ourselves in our lowest. I know I had a few times, especially last year, when I lost one of my biggest contracts that was going to set me up for life. Honestly, in my opinion, you can never have too much self-esteem and confidence in yourself. I know back in the day, especially Black women, it was looked down upon if you were too confident. People would be like, oh, she's too cocky. She thinks she all that. But in this day and age, in this moment, why the hell not? Listen, times have changed. We are done being in the foreground, waiting for others to give us permission to get in our bag. So I'm here today to share some tips and tricks on how you can begin to build up your confidence and self-esteem so you can begin getting in your bag too, because girl, you are all that too. So growing up, I was pretty shy and I had so much social anxiety. Like, I enjoyed being in the mix, but anytime that I was singled out, I would secretly be freaking out. Say I was at like a house party, I would dread being one of the first to dance because everyone would be watching you. So I would hide. I would hide a little in the back until like there were a few people dancing. And then once they started dancing, then I would come out of the shadows and allow myself to have some fun and then, start breakdancing because I was one of the best dancers out there. Still am. A little rusty, had 2 kids, but I'm telling you, if I practice a little bit, I got it. I'm telling you. But another example that I have would be just being called on to read aloud. Back in the day, I think we all experienced this for real. So you remember we would like count and see like which paragraph would be ours, so that way we can practice reading it, so when it was our turn to read aloud, we wouldn't be looking all crazy. I know I'm not the only one. It wasn't until I say high school I began to have better self-esteem in myself. And in college, I think that's when I started to rebuild myself and unlearn and relearn and building up myself, building up me. It's me that honestly I wish I could have looked up to as a little girl who was broken by, of course, life stressors at the time. So in a sense, I began healing my wounds, and by continuing to do so, it'll allow me to share my experiences, which in turn I hope will help you as well. life's journey will continue to have you building a better version of yourself when you're able to start from within, building up that self-esteem, building up that confidence, that self-worth, self-love. They all tie in with each other. But what you have to first realize is your family is the first introduction into life, your first interactions to a social structure, the start and foundation that makes, shapes, and molds you. And unfortunately, starting so early, this is where a lot of us begin to form our perceptions of ourselves and others. I damn sure suffered from low self-esteem growing up. Now, I talked about this in a previous episode, but my mom suffered from low self-esteem, self-worth, self-love, all of that. And as much as she tried to hide that side of her by, sometimes displacing her inabilities onto my sister and I, we saw this, and in return, we began to mirror these traits. I mean, how could we have not? This is who we look up to. So let's begin getting into some tips that I have that helped me along the way, and honestly, I believe it can help you. So one tip that I have is by keeping an open mind. If you have an open mind, you never know what may drop into it. Don't judge too much. Another tip that I have is getting feedback on people that you trust. Now, I'm not talking about some random person. I'm talking about others who you look up to, who are important to you, who are on the positive side of things. If they are able to tell you how they see you, then maybe you will be able to take that and start thinking like that. And that will begin working on that and building your self-esteem up on that. Another tip that I have for you is reframing with positives. Now, what I mean by this is, say if you have any negative thoughts, acknowledge that you're having these negative thoughts and try to figure out a way that you can reframe that. And that means turn it around into a positive thought. By doing this will definitely help your self-esteem, help you boost your confidence up. An example that I have, maybe say you want to wear a certain dress, right? And you're thinking negative, like, oh, my little baby pouch might show, oh, I'm too big for this dress or something like that. So that's negative. So if you can think into a positive way, like, hey, I had a baby, so what? I still look good though. I'm a mom. Oh, I got the mom body. Oh, that MILF. I mean, that's just an example. I mean, that's an example that I would use for myself. At the end of the day, I'm a mom, and I'll still get in my bag with my mommy pouch. Okay. But yeah, like, you got to start reframing those things with positives and start believing it. Now, another tip that I have for you is start the day out with small wins. Now, when I say this is, instead of having your whole day laid out, what can you do that'll just make you feel better? Like, an example I have is just making your bed. I know for me, I just get out of bed, but like, if I just make my bed and then you just look back and your bed is nice and made, and then like you're like, oh, my room is pretty clean. Maybe that might encourage you to clean your room. But like, maybe writing out your day in your planner, like, that's small. And maybe just little things can go a long way. People are so caught up with these huge dreams and these goals, but they fail to realize that you have to start small and then work your way up. Small goals close together. As you progress in life, you'll be able to begin working towards those bigger goals. They become bigger goals. Therefore, you're slowly becoming a better version of yourself every day, and you're accomplishing those goals and those dreams. Now, this next tip that I have for you is pretty important to me. I'm all about mental health. I got my degree in it, but focusing on your mental health is so crucial for personal growth, and it helps you make those right decisions. It prepares your brain for certain situations that'll help you with your self-esteem, that'll help lift you up and allow you to be confident in yourself, to look in the good in yourself. And by doing this, by focusing on your mental health, you can begin seeing those thinking patterns that are bringing you down sometimes and be able to turn those around so that it can lift you up. Now, when you're thinking about mental health, this can be so many different things. This can be spiritually as well. And once you find the mental stability and spirituality, I'm telling you, that'll be so beneficial with helping you build up your self-esteem and your confidence, because you begin to look back at yourself and realize that you're doing the best that you can, and you'll become proud of yourself for doing that, and you'll be able to stand tall and just exuberate. I think that's the word that I'm trying to get at. But you'll just radiate. I don't even know what I'm talking about. You'll just glow differently. I'm telling you. Now, another tip that I have for you to begin building your self-esteem and your confidence is to find a role model who exhibits what you want in life, what you aspire to be like. Your environment, having the right people around you to lift you up and not tear you down, is so important to building up your self-esteem. So important to living a better life, to build up your self-love. You should only have positive people around you. I'm telling you, you do not need anyone who tears you down. The motivation that you have is defined by your social circle. So you need to be around people who are giving you what you need to be your best self. If you're not giving me what I need, then to be my best self, then I'm sorry, but we can still be cool, but I'm gonna have to move on. This little girl. Side note, this is why I can't get a lot done. This is why I haven't been that consistent with my episodes, because I'm momming out here. It is very hard. I'm telling you, breastfed babies, they stay on the boob. Like, can mama have a break, please? Being a mom of two is kind of draining. I'm trying to keep up on what I'm trying to share with you on this postpartum journey. I'm trying to keep up with those tips, but I'm telling you, life is something else. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm gonna keep going, keep moving forward, keep striving. But let's get back into self-esteem and confidence. By finding a role model who you can aspire to be like. By doing this, especially in the beginning when you may not have the most confidence, it can be so rewarding and help you get on the path of building up that self-esteem. Now, it's hard to do for some people because, they may be family members and they might find it disrespectful that you have to, fall back from them. But at the end of the day, you have to worry about yourself and focus on yourself, focus on your mental health. A lot of relationships that we have with people are transactional. It's what can you give me? It's give and take. So you have to be around people who can give you the same thing that you put out. Now, the last tip that I have for you on building up your self-esteem and your confidence is by treating your path, treating your journey with consistency. No matter what, you got to continue to strive to be better. There most definitely will be times when, you might feel down. You might second guess yourself. But In those moments, you have to acknowledge your feelings, of course, and utilize some of those tips to pull you back up. Consistency is key. The more you do something, it'll then become a habit, and you'll literally feel yourself changing. And in that, it will boost up your confidence and boost up your self-esteem. This will then provide you with the preparedness for doors before they even open. So, the takeaways from this episode is our presence has purpose. Listen, that's the affirmation of the year. There's so much uncertainty right now, but there's an opportunity on the inside to strengthen that connection within ourselves and to build our confidence. Every single one of us wants to be more confident. We all want to develop the stronger relationship with ourselves. What I'm learning and continue to understand and apply to my life is the deeper the connection that we have with ourselves, the deeper connection that we have with others, man, that is so impactful because it forces you to look within yourself. And by doing this, you can begin to find yourself and then allow others to do so in return. I learned so much more about other people because of the discovery of myself. We will always have moments where we may not feel the most confident. However, being in tune with yourself and recognizing your own energy will begin balancing out the way we feel, the way you feel. Remember, you can't control where you were born, the color of your skin, or your upbringing. All you can control is your own self as an individual. In doing this, you can begin to recognize where exactly you're at, where you're starting from in life, and you can begin working from that point and working on your dreams. Remember, you have to reframe yourself with positives. Give yourself affirmations. Anything you speak, you do, or think, they become real. They become what you do. Remember that you always have control over your thoughts and your words. And you have control over your future and your destiny. But you have to build yourself up first. Everything is through repetition. And that's when I say, you got to treat your path with consistency. Reframe a negative thought into an empowering, positive one. Remember, everything is mental. Everything is mental. How you feel. Now, the saying definitely is true when they say only the strong survive. And beautiful, you are strong. I mean, you survived this long. And honestly, we have so many resources that our parents didn't have growing up back then. So they had to worry about these things. They had to deal with these things on their own, while we have so much support. And always remember your why. Why is it that you want to build up your confidence and your self-esteem? Because it's important. It's a part of growing. It's a part of your self-love journey. It's a part of the journey. Start being in the moment. Focus on the present. Focus on the day, where you are in that moment. People, too many times, we spend worrying about the future. What we really need to do is focus on what we can do and control in the present. Focus on what is going on right now. And by doing this, we can take accountability for our failures and turning it into an opportunity, flaunt them and see what you did to get past that in that moment. I know a lot of us are worried about time. We're worried about what we did in the past. We're worried about what's going on in the future, what we have to do tomorrow, what we have to do next week. But what I learned is by focusing on that day, making the best day that you can, by starting off with those small wins, those small goals, building up, doing whatever that you can in that day, you'll feel good, and then you can move on to the next day. And then when you look back, you accomplished so much by living in the moment, not worrying about the future, not worrying about the past. I'm telling you, it'll definitely help you build your self-esteem. and build your confidence so that you're able to continue growing. When we are on our journey, that's what it is, a journey. And in that's opportunity at every single moment. We just have to be open and receptive to that specific moment. This is what I've been doing, just enjoying the moment. And although at times you may feel lost, just remember that you are where you need to be. You're never lost. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. This is a game changer for me when I began to have this mindset. Life is life. We're all living it, right? We are all walking and living in our own books of life. I'll say that. And when we feel lost, look at it as though we're in between chapters. When you feel lost in your journey and you feel uncertain, just know that you're on a verge of discovery. I may not know where I am right now, but honestly, everything is uncertain for real. However, when I'm feeling lost, I'll pivot and reaffirm myself that I'm close to finding something amazing. Lost and found. There you go. I made that connection. Reaffirming is a new word in my vocabulary. I talk a lot about affirmations, but the word reaffirmed, defined to state again as a fact, we have to reaffirm how we conversate with ourselves. And that's very important in our journey. By doing this, we have to begin understanding our own love language, which is actually another form of self-love and building our confidence and self-esteem. We all have different love languages. There are 5 total, and I will be saving that topic for another time, another episode. But in my journey, how I conversed with myself, I looked within and asked myself some serious questions like, am I living as my authentic self? Am I doing things that are in alignment with my life and my purpose? What I really wanted, which was to change and grow into the best possible version of myself. Someone that not only nourishes themselves, but others. I wanted others to feel and align with my energy. My daughter's dad will point this out at times. He'll be like, you just be laughing at yourself. And he'll laugh at me. And that's because I'm constantly talking with myself. I know it sounds crazy, but I may just be thinking of like a joke or something that I saw earlier, or maybe even thinking of something corny that I wanted to say to him, and it hasn't came out of my mind yet. Yeah, I'm special, I know. But that's just an example of my self-love. Is all about being comfortable with who we are and putting out that energy. My smile makes him smile. My laugh may make you laugh. And look at that. We're vibing off of just being ourselves. So the key is to be you. And I'm talking about at the highest level, 100%. So the people who truly love you can come closer. They can discover you. And the ones who don't like you, they can go get gone. Because you hear me? If we're constantly changing ourselves to please others, we not only push away the ones that truly love us, but we're pulling away from ourselves, distancing ourselves from our true selves. If that makes sense. It's a lot, a lot in that sentence, but I'm telling you, I feel like it makes sense. But in this journey, we can have many affirmations, which are good to have. And I talked before about the importance of this. However, you also need to have real conversations with yourself as well, and actually be real and authentic. Authentic is another word in my vocabulary. But if you don't feel comfortable yet talking with yourself, or even sitting with these thoughts in your mind, my suggestion would be journaling. Writing everything out, figuring these things out for yourself. I actually enjoy this, and I like looking back to my state of mind and how I grew or changed or put in the efforts of whatever that I've written. I said this in a previous episode, but we have a relationship with ourselves, and by recognizing that is the key to our confidence and gaining a strong self-esteem. There's energy and personalities within us, and I'm not talking about like a mental illness, but we need to be able to consistently be who we are undeniably and unapologetically. My God, that word is a tongue twister. My advice to you, beautiful, is it's time to open yourself up, which is the greatest gift that you can give to the world. Being you, and that will forever be beautiful. For people to feel your authentic energy, that's where your confidence is. Being comfortable, being uncomfortable. Allowing yourself and your flaws to be seen. One of my biggest insecurities became my gift. I was that little girl not wanting to be picked first and would much rather go along with the crowd than to stand out. Look at me now, being seen and heard. My biggest fear, and still is public speaking. But here I am, putting myself out there, being comfortable, being uncomfortable, because this is what actually makes me happy. Expressing myself and sharing my experiences with you fuels my passion and my purpose. Doing this, I began building my own confidence. See, we have to stop comparing ourselves, looking at others like, wow, they're so confident. I wish I could be that way. What do they have that I don't? None of us experience life in the same way. However, we do share similar emotions. This is why we can't compare our journeys, because they are individually ours. Hopefully, by being you, you can begin walking in your purpose with your head held high, not letting that crown fall. And on the other side of our insecurities holds our strongest and most authentic selves. I use that word a lot. That's where the confidence lies. Confidence starts with believing in yourself just a little and continuing to nourish it with self-love and self-care to allow it to grow. Continue to move on those impulses, those experiences that allow you to express yourself in your true form. It's a process for sure, but every single day, by giving it your all, you'll continue to build it, therefore living in it. So think about those tips as you continue to grow through life, as you continue to grow through this crazy pandemic. And I'm going to do the same. And I hope that those can actually help you. So thank you for tuning into yet another episode. I hope you enjoyed this topic for today. And if you did, definitely rate the show with 5 stars and comment, please. You can follow the show at What She Grows Through on both Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to follow me personally, you can do so at Chanel Amir. I look forward to talking with you again. Until then.